Good day, everyone. In this session, I will showcase one of the Bible translation tools that we are currently using in written Bible translation. It's called BTT Writer. BTT Writer is an open source utility for translating the Bible and biblical content into any language. The purpose of BTT Writer is to make the Bible translation accessible to the global church. BTT Writer application is one of the most efficient tools in Bible translation which is available in the market. Here's some list of features of the application. First, it is free to download. Second, it is fully functional without an internet. Third, available in Android, Windows, Linux, and Apple devices for download. Now, let's proceed in installation. I will show you how to download the application from the website and guide you how to install it to your devices. I will also guide you how to create user account for the BTT Writer. Let's go to the web browser. Here, let's type bibleineverylanguage.org. In this homepage, you will see multiple options at the top. Just click Tools. In this page, you will see all the Bible translation tools developed by Wycliffe Associates. But for now, we will download the BTT Writer. To download, just click Download. In this page, you will see three options how to download the BTT Writer for desktop computers and Android devices. In this session, we will download the BTT Writer for Android device. For quick installation, click Google Play Store. You will be automatically directed in the application. Click Install and it will be automatically downloaded into your device. Wait for a few seconds or minute for the completion of the download. After the download, just click Open. Just click Allow for the application to be recognized in your device. It just will take a few seconds to be recognized the application to your device. Upon creating a new account, you need internet so it can be registered in the server. But if you don't have internet available at the moment, you can still create your account offline and log into a server account later. Let's try all these options. First, let's try to create offline account. Just click Create Offline Account. In this window, it will only require a name for you to proceed. Let's go back. Second, let's try to create a new server. Just click Create New Server Account. In this window, it will require some of your personal information for you to proceed, and it requires internet for your information be registered in the server. Next, let's try to log in with server account. After you create your new server account, just click Login with server account. In this window, after creating your account, you can just log in your name and your password. And because I already have account in the BTT Writer, I will just log in my name and my password. and click Continue. In this window, you will see Terms of Use. Read the license agreement, translation guidelines, and statement of faith. After reading all of it, just click I agree. Here, you will see the interface of the BTT Writer. For more detailed information regarding the BTT Writer functions, let's watch a video from Wycliffe Ashate's IT department.
And how we do that. Our first presenter today is Craig Oliver. I think I've met him a couple times before. He is actually my brother, and proud to introduce you to Craig Oliver, our Director of App Development. Craig, what do you have to share with us today?
Great, thank you, Glenn. My team is responsible for the software that powers our websites and business apps and field tools. And today I'm delighted to talk to you about one of our field tools in particular. It's a translation tool called BTT Writer. BTT Writer is an app that helps the user translate written scripture from a source language into their heart language. It has built-in support for mass methodology, and it's flexible enough to support the local church's individual needs for customization as well. It's designed to run entirely offline, but it can make use of an internet connection if it's available. And in a few minutes, I'll show you some of the ways in which it can use the internet to assist translation. It comes with a variety of source texts built in, and we can download more from multiple content servers if you have internet access. And finally, BTT Writer can upload your work to our servers for safekeeping via an internet connection. So let's jump in and look at how BTT Writer facilitates the translation process. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So I've already set up a project to translate the book of Matthew. And I've decided that we will use, for this example, the English and Latin American Spanish source texts as the source to translate from. So BTT Writer operates in several modes. As I mentioned earlier, it's designed to support the massed process. And so some of these modes are intended to make some of those steps easier. This first interface that you're looking at right now allows the translators to read the whole chapter in the source languages. This helps the translator to understand the flow and the context of the passages before they begin translating. These tabs here at the top, I don't know if you're able to see my mouse or not, but these two tabs here at the top allow you to switch back and forth between the languages. And you can add additional languages using this icon in the corner here with a plus minus on it to add more languages to this list. Later in the process, the translator can return to the screen to compare the source text to the whole of the translated text by flipping back and forth. So if I click this, you'll see these two cards kind of flip around. Right now, there is nothing here because we haven't done any translation work. But later in the process, after some sections have already been translated, we can come back here and look at the two of them at the entire chapter level. So over here on the left is the navigation bar, which I'm using to switch between modes. I'll talk a little bit more about the navigation bar at the end. So next, I've switched into this mode which facilitates blind drafting. The verses have been grouped together into chunks. For each chunk, the translator would read the source text in, and then they would switch to the editor by clicking over here on the side. You can see it flips the card, and this is where the translator would enter the translation. Notice that BTT Writer supports translating the book names as well. So here it's Matthew in English, but you can type in what the book name should be called in the target language, as well as you can change what is listed instead of chapter. You can change that to what the word for chapter is in the target language. So let's enter a translation for the first chunk here Matthew 1 through 3. So I don't actually speak the target language, but I happened to look up what the translation was. So let's pretend I was entering this in here. So this is where I would put the translation in. And then I can switch back and forth to look at the source text again and come back and modify this if I wish to. The translator would repeat this process through the rest of the chunks that they were working on for this session. Once the blind draft phase is over, the user can switch to the overview page using this third button here over on the left. The overview gives you a list of all of the chunks in the chapter, as well as a wealth of other information as well. So here we can review and edit the entire translated text. Over here on the left, we have the source texts. Like before, we can switch between the text by clicking the tab between English, in this case, and Latin American Spanish, and we can add new ones at this stage too using the plus button. In the middle, we have the target text. This is where the work from the blind draft stage can be reviewed and edited, and we can also place the verse markers. So let's do that now. Scrolling down a little bit, we can find the chunk that we were working on earlier, and we have the translation over here in this middle section. So at this point, we could drag the verse markers where they belong. So looking at the English, we can see that verse 1 starts at the beginning, verse 2 starts with the word Abraham, and verse 3 starts with the word Judah. So we can drag this marker over here, and BTT Writer helpfully highlights the word under the marker. So we can move verse 3 here, and we can move verse 2 here where they belong. We can edit the text directly by using the pencil icon here. You can see that BTT Writer did for us the tedious work of entering in the markers in proper USFM format. And here we can make additional edits to the text as we go through the review phases, either together or with our team. In addition to the text editing, we also have a wealth of information. Many source texts have other resources available to assist translation. BTT Writer can bring these resources to the translator in line with the passage they're translating. So this is really neat in that the pieces of the resources that apply to the verse that you are translating are available right over here on the right. The first of these I want to point out is the translation notes. This is a resource that provides helpful context for translators. It includes notes about the meanings of phrases, the historical context, and more. Clicking on one of the notes brings in a window with the details of that note. So for example, if I wanted to read the notes about Jesus Christ, son of David, son of Abraham, I can click this and a window flies in from the right and gives me details about it. It tells me information that would be helpful as I'm choosing the right way to translate this into the target language. In addition to notes, there are translation words. This gives us helpful context for, this gives us the key words in the passage and explains their meaning and their context, their uses and suggestions for how to translate it. So if I click on Jesus, for example, we get lots of information about who Jesus is, how to translate this word, references where this word is used elsewhere, even things like the Strong's data and more reading. Translation questions provide comprehension questions to ensure that the meaning of the passage has been communicated. The translator or reviewer can ask the question of the translated passage, then compare it to the answer to ensure they match. So in this example, we have a question about the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Which two ancestors are listed first, indicating their importance? Well, this is a clue to the translator that we need to make sure that we list those ancestors because they matter. And if the translator can then look at the text and answer the question based on the translation, and then they can click on this to see what the answer is. If the passage correctly communicates that, then we know that the meaning of those words has been properly communicated. And finally, another reference that is available for some languages is a dynamic translation. This resource provides another translation of the text to help illuminate the meaning of the passage. So each section, each chunk may have different resources available to it depending on what is present in the resources. So, for example, we can see here this particular chunk has a few resources available. This one only has 2. This one has 4, and so forth. So the resources are dynamically brought to the section that's being translated. The purpose of these, of course, is to help make sure that the translator is choosing a translation that is accurate as well as readable and natural. Over here on the left, I mentioned that we talk about the navigation bar. So you've seen already that the navigation bar allows us to go to the read the whole chapter view, as well as the blind draft view and the project overview that we were just looking at a moment ago. Down here, we have navigation buttons that allow us to move through the text quickly. So these little down and up arrows here let us move from quickly from chunk to chunk. These middle ones allow us to move directly from chapter to chapter. So we can jump right to chapter 2, chapter 3. And then finally, these large ones at the bottom and top allow us to jump right to the bottom of the chapter and jump back up to the top of the chapter. So BTT Writer provides a wealth of resources and tools to help the translator translate written scripture from the source texts that are available to the target language, making use of lots of resources that, whatever resources are available for those source languages. There are a bunch of other features that BTT Writer offers as well. Over here in the 3-dot menu, we can gain access to a bunch of these other ones. The Home tab allows you to switch between projects or create new ones. Settings down here allows you to do things like choose fonts and other different visual options, allows you to choose which features to enable, such as blind draft or gateway language translation, and allow you to choose which servers you want to interact with to get source texts or to upload your projects. Speaking of uploading your projects, we get several options for uploading them. We can upload the project to the server. This will actually upload all of your work to a folder on the content server. That's valuable for a bunch of reasons. One is the work is now in safekeeping up on the server. You can then download it again to work on it on a different tablet if you need to, or others can download the same work to work off of it, as well as making it part of the publication process. You can export to a single USFM file for continuing the work on other tools. You can export to a PDF for printing or sending to other people. And you can also export your entire project file locally so that someone else could load it into BTT Writer or Translation Studio and continue the work. So of these, the only one that uses an internet connection is this first one to upload to the server. All of these other ones are local only. And there are other features as well. You can upload you can update your lists of available source texts from the server. You can download new or updated source texts. You can update the list of available languages. You can import projects or USFM files from other tools. So there's a wealth of things that you can do with BTT Writer. I've tried to take this time to talk about the main features and tools that it offers you, but there are others as well. The desktop version of BTT Writer runs on Windows and Mac and Linux, and the tablet version can run on most Android devices. There are teams at WA that are available to help you. We have teams that are dedicated to helping to train people to use BTT Writer if you're interested in using it on your projects. And of course, my team the software development team stands by to fix bugs and help with any other technical problems that might come up. We look forward to hearing from you.